so I wanted just to talk a little about my social battery. So I think I might have covered off before. I think I'm an extroverted introvert. I don't know what that means. I know what an extrovert is and I know what an introvert is. Come on in, do we know? But yeah, like there's times where I love my own company. There's times where I'm the life and soul of the party. But what I'm starting to realise is my little social battery gets depleted really quickly. That's my battery depleting. Like my social battery, I think I might have like a really small battery. Like none of this like extra life, long life. My social battery is... So I love social things. I love going to meet friends. I love days out. But equally, as you've seen from some of my videos, it's me on my lonesome. Like I love like my own time, my own company and my own thoughts. Sometimes I can get too in my own thoughts, which is when my social battery needs a little bit more of a recharge. Recharge, it needs a just to be around people because I'm a chatter. If you haven't realised from these videos that I can chat for England, then welcome to my vlog. Yeah, so I love sometimes being around people. Sometimes I can be overwhelmed. Sometimes I can feel a little bit anxious. But yeah, so I'm not afraid, I'm not scared, I'm not shy, let's say shy. Scared's the wrong word. I'm not shy to admit that. I'm not shy that every now and again I need to retreat. And I think that's why when we talk about this flat, it's really important to me because it's that space where I can shut the door, I can put my headphones on, I can get lost down that rabbit hole that I love called YouTube, or I can start making content for you guys and let you know how I'm feeling, let you know how's your day, how's my day going. And then I was just chatting around. Like I know I'm doing a lot of stuff around finding my style because I do want to look smarter. I do want to feel like a little bit more put together. I mean, today I've gone, like, I look like a bruise. Of all the comparisons I think I've ever made about myself, a bruise, like my colour palette of a bruise, like yellow, burgundy, purple. I'm trying to think of all the colours of a bruise now. I put this t-shirt on today and it was like, burgundy, that's out of your comfort zone, but let's roll with it. Let's also put on like an 80s stonewashed denim jacket, which in my head was like, just chef's kiss gold. But yeah, then I looked at it back and was like, you look like a bruise. So I don't know what colours suit me. I laugh about navy. I tell you I've landed in my navy comfort zone. This is my navy era. But the real reason is, I just like, when you're as translucent as I am, anything other than navy is either gonna make me look even more translucent or like, yeah, I need some more vitamins. Yeah, so my social battery it does get depleted and I've spent a lot of 2025 with myself. The 101 self-help piece of advice that I can give you is just spend time with yourself. I've learned to love myself. All right, Oprah. Actually, I think I've turned into Stephen Bartlett. Like maybe I'm like the pound shop Stephen Bartlett. I don't even know why I'm jesting. I don't even know why I think that's funny. But yeah, so I've spent a lot of time in my head and it's been a great place to be. There's been days where I can't wait to get out of my head and just have some... That was out of my head, not off my head. Yeah, and then I sometimes really crave company. And I'm a storyteller. Like, I grew up like just people watching and taking it all in and then regaling these stories of my adventures, my experiences. And yeah, and that's what I got to thinking a moment ago when we were chatting in the kitchen is, you know, I wonder if you guys are the same. I wonder if you love, like your social battery is endless or it's always on charge. Are you always charging that social battery? Does it never deplete? Yeah, and then again, I also wanted to say how much I look like a bruise because I'm in my burgundy. This is like testing out my burgundy phase. Because that's the problem with clearing out your wardrobe. When you clear out your wardrobe, you find those things that you're like, oh, I haven't seen you for a while. I haven't seen you for a while. And the reason I haven't seen you for a while is because it was purposeful. We were never meant to see each other again. We were never meant to see each other again because I took you off and realised, not for me. But then when you, memory's an amazing thing, and time, and then you open the wardrobe and you find that drawer and you're like, oh my God, these are great. I've got 14 new t-shirts I can wear, but 14 new t-shirts that are all in the colour palette of a bruise. Yeah. And then I look back at photos when I was a child and I was rocking some out. I think my mum was ahead of her time, well ahead of her time in her kind of fashion sense. And I was like, I dread to think. I'll have to insert some photos because we rocked some outfits. When we were younger, we rocked some outfits. And then I think, well, is that why I've become so fashion scarred? Is that why I'm trying to find my style? Because I was just brought up in a swathe of colour and just fabrics that should never be paired together, should never be paired together. I also have a love of double denim, and I think that's where my love of double denim comes from, is the fact that I was never ever, I never had the realisation that the reason why you never touch double denim is, for all the obvious reasons. So I just wanted to come and pop back up and talk through looking like a bruise, talk about my social battery, and then talk a little bit about this flat, because the more I was having the conversation with you guys about moving into this flat, started to make me remember the day that I got the keys and it was literally empty. It was empty. And I was like, And I think if I'm left to my own devices, there is no taste. I'm very lucky in my life. I have really, really good people that can bring me back, to earth to go, in many things in life. I think we've all got those ride or die friends where we know at 4 o'clock in the morning, if the worst ever happens, they will always be there. And I am truly grateful to have the friends that I have in my life because I've worked really, really hard to nurture, grow, appreciate those friendships that I have in my life. And we've all got them. Some of them are a little bit more disjointed, a little bit further away. We don't see as often, but those bonds remain stronger than ever. And I really do love the fact I have the people that I do in my life. But I also love the fact that they will give me that kind of, don't just pull the plaster off, rip the plaster off of advice and say it for how it is. Because sometimes I think in life you need, as long as it's done constructively, and then again, there's a whole conversation about what is constructively and how we take that. But as long as it's done from those people that you can trust, and you know that the source and the soul of that piece of advice is for the greater good or for your better good. And I just think I'm really lucky. So when I moved into this flat, it was a white box, and I ran around going, well, this is a great sofa, this is a great chair, this is a great this, that, and everything else. And I'm so lucky and so grateful that I had someone in my life that went, I'm not sure a mustard corduroy sofa is what this flat needs. And of course, like a lot of people, you dig your heels in, and of course it's a mustard sofa that I need. And then you realise, actually, I may not live in a white box all of my life. And I think I've said it before, I want a house. I love apartment living in London, but apartment living in London has shown me that I don't want to live in an apartment in London anymore. So I want a house, and we will, over the next 6 months, 12 months, if not sooner, be in a house. We will find a house in London, and that will be a whole nother adventure, a whole nother series, a whole nother experience with you guys. But I do want a house. I've had fun living in an apartment in London, but I just kind of want a little bit more space, a little bit more peace, and just a little bit more of a centre of gravity to call home. So those memories are always amazing, but again, gone off on a massive tangent. We were talking about moving in and those friends and those bits of advice that in life you're so grateful for. You're so grateful to have those people. And again, as I said, as much as we might dig our heels in, kick back against any of that advice, you realise that those people in your life, those people are in your life for a reason, and that's because you really, really trust and value that advice. And that isn't just advice that's throwaway, that's advice that's built on the years and years of friendship you know, sadness, happiness that you've been through for your life. So those ride and die friends I'm so grateful for. I mean, I'm so grateful for the fact that I don't own a mustard sofa. If nothing else, don't own a mustard sofa. And they're the people that have seen me at my lowest, my highest, my saddest, because yeah, there's been some sad times. 2025 was just an evolution year for me, but also it was a year where there were a few health problems, there were a few career changes, and more importantly, there was time. And that's the one thing that I look back on 2025 really grateful for, was I had the time to reflect, had the time to review, and I had the time to just run around. I had the time to become a YouTube creator, which I'm erring towards the positive side of what a great idea. But yeah, memories, like we've all got them. And I know there's all those people that say, what's your youngest childhood memory? And I'm sure we've all got them, we can all remember them, and if we've given the time, we can think about them. But I look back and I go, I had a happy childhood. I was a very unique child in the fact that I was quite complex. I think I'm still quite a complex individual. I think there's things where I float through life and I don't get a lot of stuff. And in one respect, I'm really glad that I don't get it, because it gives me this really unique perspective that enables me to thrive and survive in London. Because I've said it before, living in London in 2026 is a slog. And I salute all of us that are doing it. Equally, if you live in any other city in London, or if you live in a city that is outside of the UK, you have pretty much the same dilemmas, the same anxieties, the same challenges. And I just think to be able to be afforded time to take a step back and just go, where do I don't know why my voice went so high there on where do I think I'm going to end up in life? But yeah, and I feel like my bit of advice to anybody is if you can just take that 5 minutes, even if it's 5 minutes in your day, to reflect and look back and go, because sometimes when you've got your head down and you're in it and you're going 100 miles an hour, it's just eat, sleep, repeat, eat, sleep, repeat. And I think to take that time to be able to fully reflect on whether that's your career, your relationships, your anything in between career and relationships I can't quite think of at the moment, then that's a really, really good thing to do. But again, don't spend too long thinking about it, because I've also realised in 2026, I'm not thinking about this stuff anymore. I am literally grabbing hold of life experiences and time and making the most of it, because as I said before, we're in March and that time is just gone. And it will be April, May, June, and then we're into summer, and then before we know it, and again, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, we're going to be in 2027, and we're going to be looking back on all of this going, where did it go? And that's the one thing that I hear all the time from people is, where did it go? And you know, I love to chat about the weather. I'll start every vlog if I can about the weather, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, whether it's rain, snow, wind, sun, whether it's too hot, too cold. I'll start all vlogs with a chat about the weather, because that's what us Londoners do. We love the weather. We love it. We absolutely love it. But we also love to talk about time. But I love talking about time and how quick time's gone if we can have a conversation about all the amazing stuff that we've done within that time. But just to acknowledge, I sat on the sofa in January and it's March and I'm still on the sofa. And you know me, I love the sofa. Who doesn't love a lay on the sofa? But you've got to be a bit more, I love to lay on the sofa, but we got up and we did stuff. And that's the one good thing I can look back on and say, I've run myself, you've heard me say it before, I've run myself ragged. But I am so glad I've run myself ragged, because I've seen things, I've experienced some things, and like even in London, like, there's even stuff in London that I'm like, how have I lived in London all my life and never done that? I mean, there's other things where I'm like, I'm really glad I didn't do any of that in London.